The movie opens up with a broadcaster announcing that the son of Kaohsiung City Congressman Guo Jinde has been kidnapped. The boy's disappearance is apparently the latest in a series of child kidnappings that have plagued the city over the past few years. What's interesting is that in every case, no ransom has ever been requested and the children have remained missing. Meanwhile, a bus with 5 people on board races down an empty road and suddenly flips over and explodes, killing everyone. The victims are Wang Ting, a 20-year-old runaway girl, 50-year-old businessman Liao Jihui, college student Lin Ziping, mysterious hooded man Xu Mingjie, and Chu Junsheng, a 28-year-old bus driver. The police, led by Detective Wang, believe that the kidnapper behind the serial child kidnappings was on board. In an effort to track down where the children are, the consciousnesses of the 5 bus crash victims are uploaded into the mind of one man known only as 193. The police use the consciousness uploading technology that is still under experiment to transfer the personalities of the 5 victims to a death row prisoner who was in a vegetative state. As a result, the codename 193 Inches, who is given the name Chen and who is carrying multiple personalities in the brain, is born. With 5 consciousnesses now housed in one body, the personalities compete for dominance, making finding out the truth of who the kidnapper is and where the children are that much harder to work out for the police. Now, the police must interrogate different personalities to find the murderer. The experimental technology is led by Dr. Shen, who has more than a vested interest in a successful outcome. It is revealed that her son was kidnapped 2 years earlier. Therefore, she is determined to find the culprit of the kidnapping case. As the investigation begins, the police find a stuffed doll soaked up in alcohol inside the bus after the explosion. This confirms their belief that the murderer was inside the bus because the congressman was also sent a package with a similar doll the day after his son went missing. At the police station, the detectives watch the news, where the congressman's wife begs the police to find their son as soon as possible. She also reveals that her son had impaired hearing, so he wore a hearing aid at the back of his ear. One of the detectives notes that the kidnapper must be a monster or a pervert. The scene shifts to Dr. Shen's laboratory, where she is experimenting with the coded 193, that is, the death row inmate Chen. She uses high-tech medicine to conduct experiments in his brain. Chen awakens from his vegetative state soon after the unconsciousness of the 5 victims is uploaded in his brain. The doctors then explain to him about his situation and that his body has multiple minds. Due to the severity of the kidnapping case, they had to get each suspect's consciousness and upload them to his brain. The experiment seems to be working as Chen displays multiple personalities one by one. The first one to awaken is Chu Junsheng, the 28-year-old bus driver. He tells the police that he was meeting his grandmother that night. His grandmother is apparently in a hospital with billions of medical bills. Then, suddenly, Wang Ting, the runaway girl, takes over the mind. She mentions that she has no love from her family, and they don't care about anything she does. 50-year-old businessman Liao Jihui is here to fend for his family and would do anything to put food on his table. Xu Mingjie takes over the host's brain at last, and as soon as he awakens, he begs to see his daughter. Here, we don't see the college student Lin Ziping's consciousness being activated because the doctors mentioned that his body had suffered the most impact during the bus accident. Therefore, it will take time for his consciousness to activate in Chen's mind. Suddenly, Chen starts having a seizure, causing the doctor to inject him with another dose of stabilizer. Dr. Shen later explains to Detective Wang that although they are using the host's body to interrogate the suspects, if the host's brain is overloaded, they not only lose the suspects but also kill it. Due to the stabilizer given to him, Chen delves into his deeper conscious state, where he sees the congressman's son. However, his vision is blurry at the moment. He also sees all the consciousness of the victims that have been uploaded to his mind. As the interrogation continues, the detectives want solid information from the suspects. Suddenly, something snaps on him, and Chen tries to kill himself by unplugging the system out of his body. At the same time, the bus driver's consciousness is awakened. He tells the doctors that he just wants to see his grandmother before zoning out. As time passes by, Chen's own consciousness gets jumbled up with others. He remembers reading bedtime stories to his little girl, but these memories get distorted due to the presence of the consciousness of the others. Dr. Shen then mentions to Detective Wang that as time goes on, foreign minds will start to take control. That is, if the vegetative host isn't awake, then the foreign mind will take hostage of the body. The doctors continue monitoring Chen as different suspects make plans to take over the body. Having battled with multiple personalities while being unconscious, Chen, who currently identifies himself as Xu Mingjie, reveals to the doctors that he can see some fragments of memories of other people. He adds that he had seen a little girl giving the missing congressman's son on a doll. The kids then walked in a park together. With this information, the detectives investigate every park and examine all the CCTV footage. They find out the name of the park, that is Zhongsang Park, and continue their investigation. Later, Chen, who still identifies himself as Xu Mingxie, also reveals that he had seen another boy with a red keychain hanging around his neck in the same park. Hearing this, Dr. Shen breaks down completely because her son, who had just been diagnosed with autism, had the same keychain when he went missing 2 years ago. This means that her son is also one of the victims in this suspenseful case. Since only Mingxi is tipping them by revealing some truth, Detective Wang and Dr. Shen decide to use him as an informant. They will promise him the host's body as the ultimate bargain, meaning that they will tell him that if Mingxi cooperates with them, then they will delete all the other minds in Chen's body, give him a new identity, and escort him safely to his daughter. But he needs to get deeper into that brain and find useful information for them to crack the case. Since he is really longing for his daughter, Mingji agrees with the plan. He delves into the deep consciousness and sees something, but is suddenly interrupted by Liao Jihui. The family man tells him that the doctors and the agents are lying. They will destroy this body once the case is cracked, so it is up to them to find an escape. Mingji ignores his warnings and explores further into the host's mind. Regaining his consciousness, he tells the detectives that he sees a room that may be where the hostages are kept. In another interrogation, he reveals to have seen needles and number 413, which could be some clue for the detectives. One night, Chen suddenly snaps and tricks Dr. Shen into unlocking his cell. He appears to be displaying a rather different persona, a side of him that he hadn't shown earlier. He becomes extremely hostile when Detective Wang threatens him with a gun. Taking Dr. Shen hostage, he manages to get out of the building and drive away with her. During the ride, he once again starts displaying multiple personalities, first the driver and then the runaway girl. They then reach a location where Chen suddenly changes his demeanor. He is now the family guy Liao Jihui, who happens to have come to meet his boss here. Since Liao is already dead, the boss refuses to believe that Chen is actually Liao. Liao starts asking for the ransom money from his boss. It turns out that he was responsible for getting the money and then dividing it into 5 parts. It is then revealed that all the 5 victims of the bus accident were actually accomplices in the kidnapping case. However, they all communicated online, so none of them knew how each looked. Through Liao and his boss's conversation, we learn that Wang Ting, the runaway girl, was responsible for seducing children, while Liao was responsible for getting the money ready. College student Lin Ziping, who is responsible for contacting the team and imprisoning children. The driver played the part of transporting the kidnapped children, while the last passenger, Su Mingzhe, is the mastermind of this kidnapping case. The main motive is explained in the following scenes. It is also revealed that Mingzhe not only wants to command the other 3 personalities to get back the ransom from Liao's boss, but also wants to kill the other personalities. But he has been acting all good and innocent in front of the police. He also wants to use Chen's body to be truly resurrected. In the meantime, Detective Wang finds out the secret base of college student Lin Ziping and sees the Bible verse, "You shall not sacrifice to the Lord your God any cattle or sheep that have a disability or any evil disease, because this is an abomination to the Lord." He also sees critical information about the missing children. It is also written that defective offspring are not acceptable to the Almighty. Elsewhere, Liao is overtaken by another personality, the same rude and hostile personality. This version of Chen swiftly kills the boss and the rest of his men for not paying him the ransom money. When the detectives arrive at the scene, it is too late because Chen has already hit the road with Dr. Shen as a hostage. During the ride, Chen zones out, causing the car to crash into the ocean below. When he and Dr. Shen regain consciousness, his mind is now overtaken by Mingzhe. The pair then help themselves to a nearby hotel room. After much consultation by the doctor, Mingzhi agrees to look deep within to find the real murderer, who is the only one who knows the whereabouts of the missing children. Just when he delves into the deep, mindful state, he finds out that the driver, the family guy, the college student, and the runaway girl, all of their consciousness have been massacred by a mysterious personality within the brain. It doesn't take much time for this mysterious personality to show up and unmask his face. It is then revealed that Mingzhe is the mysterious, hostile personality within Chen's mind who wants to take over the body. Chen, who had been identifying himself as Mingzhe, had been deceived in the first place. That is, Mingzhe tricked Chen, the original conscious mind, into believing that he he is Mingzhe and play nice in front of the doctor and police. He did this by fiddling with Chen's original memories. It is further revealed that Mingzhe and Chen are both fathers of disabled daughters, and they both killed people because of their daughters. The former killed kidnapped children. The latter killed his drunk wife, who refused to let him meet his daughter. This is the reason why Chen was sentenced to jail for years. Moreover, the psychotic Mingzhi is the big boss who has coordinated the entire kidnapping case. His daughter was a disabled child, which is why the kidnapping group specifically went out for children with disabilities. Mingzhi believes that it is too painful for disabled children to live in the world, so he killed his own daughter and kidnapped and killed other people's children. Since children with disabilities are often not accepted by society, Mingzhi pretends to be a god, believing that by killing them, he can end the pain and suffering of these children. Regaining consciousness, Mingzhi, pretending to be the host Chen, demands to see the latter's daughter, but his main objective is to kill Chen's daughter as well, because she also has some kind of skin disease, rendering her vulnerable and pitiful. The detectives bring over Chen's daughter in exchange for revealing the name of the real murderer, and so they meet at a rundown warehouse. Mingzhe, disguising himself as Chen, tearfully hugs his daughter until he shows his real face and tries to kill her. Thankfully, Detective Wang intervenes, and the two get engaged in an intense fight. Sadly, the detective is stabbed in his stomach, causing him to lose his balance. Mingzhi then pursues the little girl, who is now with Dr. Shen. Unfortunately, the doctor fails to protect the girl as Mingzhi snatches her away. The girl begs her father to stop, and suddenly, her cries trigger Chen's original state of mind. This leads to Chen overpowering Mingzhe in his subconscious mind, and now he can finally meet his daughter in person. The father duo hugs each other, expressing their much-awaited reunion. Sadly, Chen realizes that the monstrous Mingzhi still lives within his mind. Therefore, he begs Dr. Shen to kill him so that he can end the horror for good. Dr. Shen picks up her gun and tearfully points at him, but she is too hesitant to pull the trigger. Suddenly, the injured Detective Wang opens fire from behind and shoots Chen in the head. The final scene of the movie skips to a couple of weeks later, when the kidnapping case has been finally closed. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.